And there is our friend Nigel with his new friend who is... keep the hand down, mein Führer! Mein Führer! Mein Führer! Mein Führer! I love you, mein Führer! Does that basically cover it?
Basically covers it. Yeah. This is the news that UKIP have been attracting more Tory defectives.
Defectives?
You brought a fancy dress party as a Nazi or something?
No. That was another Tory.
No. It wasn't a fancy dress party, it was normal day casual wear around the house. Yeah.
You've obviously been fingered by the press, haven't you? As a... No, honestly, shush. As a potential defector. Haven't you?
Well, the more...
Have you tempted? Can
I make the announcement now?
Yes, before... Oh, that would be good, wouldn't it, ladies and gentlemen?
After a lot of thought, I've decided that I'm going to stay in the Conservative Party.
Oh, that's a disappointment.
We
thought you might join Labour.
I did consider Liberal Democrats.
Did you?
Somebody has to.
Well...
So you're definitely not going?
Definitely not going tonight.
All right, I won't give up the day job.
He might.
Oh.
Depends how we vote.
And who was the darling of the Tory conference this year?
Theresa May?
They like the look of her. And then there's Boris, so there's the choice. Who would you go for? If you stay in the Tory party, that is.
Well, the Prime Minister is going nowhere. And
that is true.
And he...
I thought those two pilots were mooning. Weren't they?
Yes, it did.
Yeah.
It's cheese, though.
Yes, well done.
Cheese.
It's cheese.
Yes. Your Kim watchers have decided he's eating too much cheese.
Yes. Well, according to the Metro, Kim has...
Ah, well, they know.
They
Nothing like a giveaway London Free newspaper to give you the lowdown on North Korea.
North Korean correspondent.
Anyone know what kind of cheese he's particularly addicted to?
Camembert.
No.
Camembert.
No, according to the Metro, yes.
Is it Korea Philly? Oh, dear, I'm terribly sorry.
Yeah. This could be a spin-off programme, you know. With a bit of luck.
He is, in fact, addicted to...
Poison cheese.
An Emmental cheese. He has an Emmental cheese addiction. Why has ex-Fulham manager Felix Magath had his own cheese problems recently?
Putting cheese on a bruise or an injury, on a hamstring injury.
Yes.
Strap a bit of cheese to your leg.
He has, in fact, been universally ridiculed after it was revealed that he told one of his defenders to treat a leg injury by rubbing cheese onto the affected area. Ex-defender Breda Hangeland revealed that Magath advised soaking the cheese in alcohol. And he was told to phone his mother because it would help to speak to someone who loves him while the cheese is working. What, of course, now do Fulham fans sing whenever their players get injured?
Cheese-based pun football chant. I don't know enough football chants.
It's very obvious. They just chant, get the cheese out, get the cheese out, get the cheese out for his leg. Sometimes I hate being a dentist because what?
Is it because I know they hate me? I've got lots of friends who are dentists, and they say it's very sad because, you know, people come to see them and they go, oh, lovely to see you, and they go,
You have lots of friends who are dentists?
I've got two.
Two friends? That's hardly lots, is it, Mr.
So, well, I haven't got many friends.
SpongeBob SquarePants is a what, says Kazakhstan.
He's a gay icon.
Is he?
The answer is self-absorbed violent hooligan.
He does cry a lot.
Yeah, but self-absorbed, I mean, that's ridiculous. He's a sponge. Jebediah the singing goat is a new pop idol. Let's have a look at Jebediah in action.
In no way can that be described as singing? It's a plea for help.
They're down to 6%, so that it should have been a really gloomy conference, but they seem terribly happy. They're the only party who think they're going to be in the next government, and they're probably right. Even if they're wiped out, there's going to be some sort of coalition with Clegg in charge.
Yeah.
So it's vote anything, get Clegg.
I went to that Pride of Britain thing the other day,
Right.
and Cameron got up there, and Sam Cam, who my son-in-law snogged at school, she said nothing.
What were the other school prizes?
According to the Mail snobbery correspondent Quentin Letts, what is... Oh. Did your son-in-law also snog him?
He's not witty, he's cruel and unkind. I don't care for him.
And he's our special guest here tonight.
How did he describe UKIP?
It'd be funny if they're like Lidl, 'cause that's like all foreign.
Lidl is right. Lidl is right. And also, what...
That was an accident. I didn't mean to get that right.
Lidl and Aldi.
Why did UKIP get Aldi? They're Poundland, surely.
Is Poundland a supermarket?
I've no idea.
When your butler comes back from there, what sort of... Does he show you the receipts? There was a bit of a fuss this week, or... yeah, there they are, the Top Girls. Yes, they were filming Top Gear in Argentina, in fact, and the locals noticed that one of the number plates seemed to refer to the Falklands War. H, sorry.
H982FKL.
But they found another number plate in the car.
Yes.
That said, Bell End.
That's where he lives, isn't it? He gets a lot of letters delivered to him, I know that.
The newspaper has actually translated this. This is the Tierra del Fuego newspaper. The translation of the English phrase is final bell. Sort of. Although other sources we contacted yesterday told us that the word bell end, all one word, is in fact an insult. It makes reference to the head of the penis. Those Top Gear coincidences just keep rolling on.
Final bell.
Yeah.
Do you remember that was the one when Piers Morgan was editor of the Mirror at the time, I think?
He was, yes.
Yeah. I gave evidence against the Mirror.
Did you do it in that voice?
To protect your identity, did you appear as a 7-year-old girl? Is that the thing? On the screen?
He's got a personalised number plate. That shows the sort of chap he is.
Cricketers have said the England team are only indulging in standard dressing room banter.
Banter!
Does? They don't know the kind of banter the sort of jokes these lads get up to.
Put nair in the pants.
Oh, that would... Oh, dear.
You should have seen old Cleggsy. He lost all his pews. It was hilarious. Banter!
They gave someone 2 left-handed batting gloves
Yes.
as they went out to bat. This is the national team, you know. Know what Freddie Flintoff used to do?
He used to drink his own urine. Banter!
He snuck a real pig's head into a teammate's locker.
Legend.
We know that Roy Keane has exacting moral standards. What did he think about player Robbie Savage? He said, I got Robbie's mobile number and rang him. It went to his voicemail. Hi, it's Robbie. What's up? Like that Budweiser ad. I never called him back. I thought, I can't be fucking signing that.
It's the old story when, in the 1970s, and Brezhnev was going to visit Poland, and he said, I've got to take them a present. I want to take them a big painting, get me a big painting of Lenin in Poland. So the artists go away and they come do a bit of research. They come back and they say, Brezhnev, look, we haven't got, Lenin never went. I'm not interested if Lenin never went to Poland. I want a painting. Lenin's in Poland. That's what I want the painting of. So the artist paints away and comes back 3 weeks later. And Brezhnev is just about to go to Poland. He said, where's the painting? He said, it's here. He reveals the painting. He says, Lenin in Poland. He sees there's a couple in bed. He says, well, who's that woman there? He says, that's Mrs. Lenin. He says, who's that bloke? He says, that's Trotsky. He says, where's Lenin? He says, Lenin's in Poland.
On which note, we say a big thank you to our panellists in Hislop and Nick Hewer, Paul Merton and Tony Law. And
Sue, can I just mention the fact, because people have got books out, and I just wanted to show, just briefly there, you see, look, do you see that? Can you just get that? Do you see that? There we are, look.
But David Cameron is very, very relaxed about UKIP, I want you to know. I mean, he used to call them loonies, fruitcakes, closet racists. He's completely relaxed about them, which is why in the last few weeks he's offered you £10 billion in unfunded tax cuts, promised to leave the EU if they don't change the core principle of freedom of movement.
He didn't offer me £10 billion.
He would, Frank, if
you got me mixed up with Jimmy Carr. Is it time for the further adventures of Brooks Newmark?
Yeah, always.
So he's texting a different woman and he asks her to send him a naughty photo, and these are the actual texts. She says, "No, I am being good." He says, "Please." Him again, "I am in middle of Africa. I need something to fantasise about." OK, what? And then he changes the tone slightly. "Something awful has happened. I can't talk now, but I have to resign from government." We'll catch up later. So sorry. Ed Miliband had a bad week.
Which week are we on?
Yeah. Notice that's actually printed on these cards rather than written. In order of merit, people asked to rank the party leaders on who they would trust to babysit, pay back money, and fix a shelf.
That's amazing they would trust Cameron to babysit.
Yes.
Because he left his daughter in the pub.
I like the idea of kind of really trusting Farage to fix a shelf. And like, rather than the other guys, like, oh, they'll probably get someone Polish to do it. To do it himself.
Lord Freud got into trouble this week for saying that people with disabilities should only get paid £2 an hour. I wonder how much Oscar Pistorius is going to get for sewing those mailbags. Look, either groan or laugh. You can't do both.
He hasn't been sentenced yet, has he?
Yeah, but when this goes out, we'll be fine.
I think somebody was saying we shouldn't go to prison because it can be quite a dangerous place. Not as dangerous as his bathroom, perhaps.
This is the man who records his own sneezes. He's called Peter Fletcher from Birmingham.
There was a guy who'd come over, he'd come via, I think he was from Sierra Leone, via Liberia, and he said that their plane was greeted by an official saying, "I'm here to check for Ebola," and then shaking everybody's hand.
Oh, no.
Sorry, it's
just a cold.
I mean,
Sneeze 475 on Have I Got News for You? Best contribution to the show so far.
Philippa Langley had an odd feeling that Richard III might be buried in a car park in Leicester. A year later, she went back to the site and the feeling returned, although this time someone had hand-painted the letter R over the parking bay.
Amazing. For years and years, she was going, "Sure he's down there. There's an R. Why else would it be there?" And they were like, "Restricted parking." She's like, "No, it's too easy."
should he have a state funeral?
No.
It's either him or Blair.
Chuck them in together. Why wait till he dies?
What offers cemetery new life?
Is it to do with young people getting off in graveyards?
No, but does that happen?
Yeah. And, you know, depending on which position you're in, you can end up with somebody's name on the tombstone printed on your back. And you explain that when you get home. Who's William Hardcastle, died 1874? I don't know, Mum, I've been down to disco, haven't I?
Is that what young people do?
Yeah, hello, hello. I've been the head still, have you noticed?
It's like being in a Cliff Richard movie.
I think I should see your solicitor about that one.
At a clinic in Nottingham, one patient is astonished to learn he has a nut allergy.
Don't believe it, I just don't believe believe it.
Why is it for her?
I don't know.
As new technology improves the safety of children online, there's evidence that some internet predators are going back to more traditional methods.
There was some show
Tonight
with Cliff Mitchell
That's
more,
right, yeah.
and they just routinely did really, really bad calypsos, didn't they?
But it used to be about, you know, an eagle's escape from Chessington Zoo. It's really exciting, we love you too.
Ian!
I know, I did.
Have we found the missing link between popular music and William Pitt the Younger? Oscar Pistorius, he won't be doing that for a while. There's been some controversy. He's been sent to jail for 5 years, but could be out inside in 10 months. The defence said we should feel sorry for him because he's recently lost his girlfriend, but that didn't seem to really play with most people.
I was a girl, like, find a rich man, find a rich... Don't. If he gets tired of you, he'll pay a good lawyer and get off. Kill you for it. Right? I teach my little girl, you find a poor black man in America, because they get blamed for stuff they didn't even do. Right? I want a man who knows he has to protect her, because if she goes missing, he's going down no matter what. Is that too much to ask? As a parent? As a parent.
Apparently, you'll now be able to get a 2-year jail sentence for trolling on Twitter. You in favour of that legal change, Ian?
I don't think 2 years for using Twitter. Is it necessary? Do you have to do it? I don't do it.
Do you only do what's necessary? Why are you wearing a tie?
Well, don't be ridiculous. That is necessary. Otherwise, my neck would fall off.
Now, Britain's first blind darts team.
Yes. They use a bit of string or something to get where the board is.
Do you know what they're called? They're called the Optimists.
The Optimists.
The Optimists have entered a competition with 14 other teams. Why might they be the underdogs?
Well, they can't see.
And all the other teams can, that's absolutely right.
Who's responsible for saying what the score is? Because they missed again, sorry. That one went out the window. Oh, you hit the Labrador that time. This is the Pope, karaoke night. He wanted to be friendlier to gays.
This document regarding the Vatican's stance on homosexuality, it has a Latin name.
Oh, yes.
Do you know what that is?
No.
It's relatio.
No.
It is.
Is that when we normally go to a commercial break?
I mean, you only get about 5 seconds in there. You have to queue for 3 hours to get to the Sistine Chapel. You get in there and someone says, shut up, shut up, shut up. And then you try and take a picture and you get out.
The Pope thinks it's the bad breath and body odour of the people. It's damaging the frescoes.
No.
Yeah?
God, I work with so many smelly men, not you, Paul, but... In my long...
Have you lost your sense of smell?
In my long TV career, I've worked with a lot of very smelly
Who were you
people.
thinking of?
Yeah, let's have it. Initials.
Just do an impression.
Initials would be easy.
No, I can't do impressions.
Oh.
But surely people are less smelly now than when the Sistine Chapel was built.
No, I've got a list of smellies. Actually, I've worked with female smellies as well. But usually they have big hair, which is a plus, because you can't get anywhere near them anyway.
Ah, right, Anthony Eden. It's moustaches. They've all got moustaches. Who was the last one? Harold Macmillan had a moustache.
That is absolutely brilliant for 2 points. They all have moustaches, and the next would be Harold Macmillan, Prime Minister, 1957 to 1963.
But I thought that was going to be really intelligent.
It wasn't, was it?
But you were brilliant.
Yeah, but it wasn't intelligent.
Do you think somebody couldn't be made Prime Minister now with a moustache? Would you like to see a moustachioed Premier?
Yes, I think Farage. Just put a little one here.
The triathlon consists of a 3.8-kilometre swim, 180-kilometre bike ride and then a marathon. Although, if you're in the 70 to 74 age group, the main challenge is surviving the shock of the starting gun.
And trying to eat a marathon at the end.
Your popular culture references are 20 years out of date, sir.
Do you think that Ed Miliband would be more electable if he went for a bit of plastic surgery?
Yes.
Which
You
bit?
do not.
Breast implants tomorrow.
Paul's shell-shocked. I'll have
Yeah,
to
I know.
hose him down
Yeah,
later.
And in Edinburgh, one resident regrets calling his girlfriend by the wrong name, just as things were getting steamy.
Someone being given the bill. Getting a bit of a shock. Oh, it's him. And him saying I didn't have the starter and didn't drink much.
It's David Cameron getting the massive bill when he went to Europe for not turning his data roaming off.
1.7 billion, it's a lot, isn't it?
It feels a little bit like the EU are doing that thing when you go out with someone and they want you to dump them. So they just start behaving really badly and asking for things that are going to annoy you. It's, you know, if you've ever been out with a boyfriend, they're sort of like, oh, I want a threesome and I want 1.7 billion by the 1st of December. So that's what it feels like.
Yeah, I know that so well.
He'll do anything not to do work, Boris Johnson. He's never behind a desk. I've never seen a photo of him in his office.
No, you don't want him doing anything, do you?
Right, there's a man on the run, and yes, right, okay, yes, David Cameron. Somebody ran into him this week in Leeds. I think there was a man running through Leeds, and he was arrested for about an hour, wasn't he? And then they sort of realised he was just a guy just on a run that didn't sort of notice the charismatic politician. It's not really the Kennedy assassination. Is that the best we can do? He's a people magnet. People just want to rush to kiss him and touch his charisma.
I've never heard it called that before.
Oh, you're on the telly, you must have done.
They all dived on the bloke, didn't they? And nobody thought, oh, I wonder if one of us should be with the Prime Minister.
But I like the fact they arrested him and then they realised that he was just a bloke jogging. So there was this wonderful phrase, they de-arrested him.
Yeah.
Which I didn't realise you could do.
I'd not heard that before.
No, it's an official thing.
Can they beat people up?
Yeah. Surely you've read the report afterwards.
This is what a desperate politician looks like.
Ian or Sheen?
Tesco.
You can't compete against knowledge like this.
No. And they say literacy levels are very low in this country, but I saw that straight off.
Yes, Ian and Rasheen again.
It's the Queen.
We can't compete with this. They're out of our league.
Somebody must have told them.
Yeah, they've been sent off in advance.
Yeah.
The Queen used Twitter for the first time from the Science Museum, the National History Museum.
Science Museum, I can read it there.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Oh, you and your skills!
Skills, I know. I'm just showing off now. My favourite story about the Queen was when the iPhone was invented, and there was a story like this, and they said the Queen had got an iPhone, and someone in the palace supposedly said, well, it's marvellous, it stores music, and whenever you ask, it just plays it. And she said, oh, like the band of the Grenadier Guards.
This is the news that the Queen has embraced modern technology. Quite a big deal for a woman who can't even embrace her own children.
I didn't know that Crossrail was going underneath here.
Paul tried to intervene to stop the animal getting frisky with his fellow performers.
Well, the other rabbits.
No, Debbie McGee.
Oh, no.
Jimmy Carter. Let's get to Jimmy Carter.
Can I just say I went to see him in Panto once.
Jimmy Carter in Panto? You really do go to posh Pantos.
He was very good.
Who was playing the Dame? Queen Mother?
It's not the first time a rabbit's been involved in an attack on a US president. Let's not forget Lee Harvey Oswald.
What?
That's really terrible.
That film came out in 1952.
I don't mean to be picky, but Harvey wasn't a real rabbit.
No, he was, no.
I like the joke. I like the joke. I like the
Who
idea
likes
of
the
Harvey
joke?
killing.
Who doesn't like the joke?
Who in the audience would just make a random noise if you were asked to? That's the most popular one of all.
Oh, we're going to have to get the writers out the pub.
If they were paid more, they wouldn't have to work as bar staff. Harvey. Harvey.
Who have Tesco blamed the crisis? Tesco.
Harvey the rabbit. Well, when you lived in a town as long as I have, you're used to people knowing your name.
That's not very good, James Stewart.
Yes, you don't get a lot of call for it these days.
We could do a show where James Stewart and Marlon Brando live together in a house.
Yeah. Marlon, what you do? Wash it up for once in a while? It's all right for you. I got a day job. What the fuck am I doing? What am I doing?
What for inappropriate sighing?
I know this one. It's a professor at Warwick University.
Is the correct answer. Professor suspended for 9 months.
Yes, because this story was in a very, very informative fortnightly magazine.
What would be appropriate? Is an appropriate sigh like a... That's an appropriate sigh. An inappropriate is...
Oh, fuck you.
Before we go, there's just time for the caption competition.
Oh, my God. That's you.
And I did not know that was coming. And that's very inappropriate.
Do I get my ginger discount?
And in the mood for a bit of phone sex, a careless Boris Johnson calls the wrong number.
It's his wife.
That's the joke.
Norman Baker. This is a huge story. Someone's left the Home Office.
You're right. I mean, this is the news that Norman got cross and decided he couldn't stand trees anymore, so he quit, and Nick talked to Dave and replaced Norman with Lynn. One result of that was the appointment of a new government whip. Does anyone know who that is?
Yes, Lady Garden.
She is. Apparently she's no friend of Lady Trimmer, though I understand.
She's very anti the Brazilians, isn't she?
The Mirror helpfully highlighted various other politicians, mainly American, with amusing names, like Young Boozer. I'd vote for him, I think. Then there's Governor of Idaho, Butch Otter.
No, get out of my dam.
He can't win, can he? I mean, in the sense that... You can't help but feel sorry for the man in the sense that who else could actually make giving money to the poor look really, really awful?
It's incredibly embarrassing. I mean, he is now genuinely unlucky. He can't do anything. He walks past a beggar. Have I got any change? What's in my pocket? Oh, God, I hope it's £1. No, it's a 2p. Oh, in you go, Ed. You look a complete idiot. Give some money, don't give some money. No, you give 2p, so it's offensive all round.
A report from University College London says that EU migrants substantially benefit the UK economy. If we do accept the report's findings, which immigrants are the best? Shall we play a game of immigrant top trumps?
No. We haven't got time.
Okay, yeah. Oh, go on.
All right, let's play.
Yeah, all right. Now, that's for you, Paul. You are non-European there, OK. You're Western European there, Richard. OK, Caroline, you are Eastern European. And if you could pass Ian, UK native. I've no idea where they got that picture of my husband from.
What point does this turn into a game?
I love these national stereotypes.
I can honestly say that I'm glad I'm the one person who doesn't have a stereotypical picture on mine. At least I've got an actual Frenchman on mine. So if you look at university degrees...
25.
25 to beat.
I'm going to win everything. Yeah,
I
go
don't
on.
think you ought. You've already lost this one.
Which one?
Are you thick or something?
I just can't see a god.
The average age,
27. Ooh, 27. Well, what do you think non-European's going to be? Higher or lower? What do you think? Higher or lower? Higher, higher. Oh, let's have a look. Yeah, well, it's 62. 26 is lower. It's lower. Now a bit excited at last.
Caroline, you ready for this? 26.
Ian, go for it.
The average age of UK natives is going to be what? Higher than the young men who come over here to find work? Let's see if it is. Ooh, it is! Well, that certainly proves nothing at all.
I don't want to worry you, but these are the people replacing us next week. It's an audition. Who's going to be here next week?
Ian, you said £8.50.
You've got the car. The car and the caravan are safe. This is for the motorboat.
The average Western European immigrant to the UK received an hourly wage of
£7.
£9.
No! The hourly wage for me, £7.9. What about that? Why am I talking like this? So I've got a great idea. Let's get rid of these bleeding cards. There we are, look.
Some photos were released of him visiting an orphanage. However, on closer inspection, it looks as if someone had carefully positioned two soft toys.
You can't show that. Someone will be killed.
That wink is great, isn't it?
Now, Caroline, you wore a T-shirt in the Commons last year, didn't you?
I did. I was wearing a No More Page 3 T-shirt, and the debate was about media sexism and so forth, and I was barely a minute into my speech before the chair told me that I was being very offensive and needed to put my jacket on straight away.
I'm sure I'm wrong, but isn't that Boris Johnson as a member of Spandau Ballet sitting behind me?
Have you got to wear a jacket in the Commons, then?
I think you're not allowed to wear T-shirts with slogans on them. I was reading apparently, until quite recently, if you wanted to make a point of order during a vote, you had to wear a top hat.
Oh, those were the days, weren't they, Ian?
Incredibly sensible. You'll have to have slogans on the top hat. No more corn laws.
The dog in Downton Abbey is unfortunately also called ISIS. How are Downton Abbey are said to be dealing with the ISIS
killing him off, aren't they?
Why don't they just wait until ISIS finish? Seems a bit feeble to give in and change the name.
It's not as if anybody's going to confuse the two entities.
No. And if the dog had been called Islamic Caliphate... then that would have been a problem, but it's not really, is it?
Downton Abbey denied that they killed off the Earl of Grantham's favourite dog simply because it was called ISIS. However, they did admit that things weren't looking good for the family's pet parrot, Boko Haram. Meteorologist caught what live on camera?
Sneezing.
Go downstairs a bit.
Oh, OK, going to the kitchen to make a sandwich.
Live on camera? That's what sounded good.
Meteorologists having a... caught weeing on camera. Here he is.
Let's bring in Weather Channel meteorologist Mike Seidel. He's in Sugar Mountain, North Carolina. Hi, Mike. Right. Well, obviously, Mike not quite ready for us, but let's turn to some other news we're following on this Saturday night.
I'm not sure it's entirely clear what he was doing, but let's settle for a wee-in, shall we? There is a moon man.
I think that's a practice moon thing, because there's a guy in a tie just behind him.
And unless he's holding his breath...
If that's the real footage, I begin to think the conspiracy theorists are on to that. The initial landing caused a great deal of excitement. Let's have a look.
So that was genuine excitement, wasn't it? That was fantastic.
I mean, what would she have done if it had landed the right way up?
Exactly. So it's landed on there, and then a scientist made a sort of a press statement about it, and he was wearing a shirt that sort of featured sort of scantily dressed women on the shirt, and that became the story. Not that we've landed something on a comet, but a man wore a sexy, saucy shirt and then cried when he had to apologise for it. So that's become what we remember rather than the great scientific achievement.
Question you've got to ask yourself is, would the person who made a perfect choice of shirt have been as good at science? You know, probably not. I mean, there must be such people, you know, James Bond or someone. Perfect shirt, perfect science.
Yeah, but he's not real.
No, he's not real, and he's, let's be honest, a bit rapey as well. Do you know who came out publicly for Dr. Taylor?
I think Boris did, didn't he?
Yes. Boris Johnson defended Dr. Taylor. He said, if you are an extrovert space scientist, that is the kind of shirt you're allowed to wear. I have studied it as closely as the photos will allow. And I can't see what all the fuss is about. Meanwhile, what was the elephant in the room at the summit?
Was this mentioning the Ukraine?
Yes, it
and
was.
no one wanted to do it, apart from, was it the Australian deputy Prime
Canadian,
Minister?
was it a Canadian Prime Minister who shook his hand and said, "Get out of Ukraine," which is a greeting in Canada.
Yes, he said, I guess I'll shake your hand, but I only have one thing to say to you. You need to get out of Ukraine. And how did Putin respond, according to the Mail?
He headbutted him.
And then he said, I'm not in Ukraine. To be fair, he was in Brisbane. What did the leaders have to do?
Cuddle koala bears.
Yeah, they had to hug a koala.
Yeah.
Cameron and Merkel managed to dodge the koala shot, perhaps because they've heard the two most commonly known facts about koalas.
Yeah, the chlamydia thing, and it's kind of ruined koalas for me, if I'm honest.
I've never liked koalas. It's ruined chlamydia for me. Yes, 90% of koalas have got chlamydia, and they almost always piss on you when you pick them up.
Does that give you chlamydia?
If you've been pissed on by a koala recently, you just have a checkup.
That sounds like one of those sort of, like, legal ads you see on daytime TV. Have you been pissed on by a koala? And it wasn't your fault.
Qatari Mohammed bin Hammam undoubtedly paid money to a delegate from Tahiti specifically to vote for the Qatari bid. But why have FIFA dismissed this as irrelevant?
But they said he wasn't acting on behalf of the Qataris. Despite being Qatari, and described by the Qataris as their greatest asset in our bid for the World Cup, he was not acting for them. Thank goodness FIFA sorted that one out.
It's not funny, but these people are arseholes.
Who are all these people?
Well, I was going to say, don't help him, Sarah. Ian, how many can you name?
You know.
I can name all of them.
Go on, then. Name them.
That's...
One Direction. Come on, don't cheat. It takes all the fun out of it, like the World Cup.
And just off the A54, it's a memorable first day for the AA's new trainee. So yes, David Mellor was accused of being foul-mouthed.
Well, he was.
Fair enough. Here he is back when he was a cabinet minister. Here he is as a student. This hasn't changed at all, has he?
No. It's like the worst Benjamin Button we're going through there, isn't it?
Am I wrong in thinking he was involved, this seems most unlikely, in some sex scandal?
Back in 1992, let's have a look. Here is Antonia de Sancha.
With Max Clifford.
Max Clifford.
Is that what mobile phones used to look like?
But that's not why Mellor left the cabinet. He stayed on after that. The Tories were very forgiving in those days. It's a very different atmosphere now. He eventually was sacked for taking free holiday from the daughter of the PLO's finance director. But, you know, times change.
And nobody remembers that anymore.
No. I just hope no one brings it up.
Who spoke out against the mansion tax this week?
Angelina Jolie.
She
who
has.
speaks out about everything. It's just so she doesn't really want a house in England because of the mansion tax. Is she serious?
Yeah, and then complain about paying
3,000?
possibly top whack £30,000. Mansion tax. That's it. The average house in London makes that much money in increasing value every year anyway. She wouldn't even notice it.
It's an extraordinary thing.
And she's unbelievably rich. And it does make you think, well, everything else you say must be rubbish.
Do you know...
It's just a whole load of people who can quite blatantly afford to pay £30,000 saying this is an outrage. It's a tax on the very rich, it is what it is, and if very rich people say, I don't want to pay it, why do they have to dress it up as though it's a moral issue?
It wasn't Angelina Jolie I was after, actually.
Oh,
Who's the...
Tell us, who else?
Who else?
Yeah.
Bill Oddie.
Bill Oddie.
Yeah, Bill
Oh,
Oddie.
I like mixed up Bill Oddie and Angelina Jolie.
Bill Oddie. Oh, yes, Ian and Josh.
Lamb chop in space.
Yes.
Yep.
That's it.
Did he pump a sheep full of helium?
A balloon full of helium,
Yeah.
put the chop on a fork,
Yeah.
and here it is.
Wow.
And it stayed on the fork all the way.
What? You couldn't fake that kind of footage, could you?
No. And so it went up there with a GPS tracker, and it just collapsed.
Comes to something when a lamb chops had a better, more exciting life than you.
According to the Mail, the meat then fell to earth, where it was lost for 5 months before it was stumbled upon by a farmer.
No. It would have burnt up in the Earth's atmosphere.
Well, apparently not.
No, apparently yes. It's called science. We know about this.
It landed in a field.
Well, Cam, look at this. That must have been the lamb chop that was up there 5 months ago.
Yeah.
You just read this stuff right without even thinking about it, do you? Like a member of UKIP. What's going on? You've got no idea what you're talking about.
Well, I'm guessing it came down with the GoPro camera and the,
You're
and the
guessing?
fork.
Supposing the scientists who put the landed the probe on the comet, suppose they were guessing. Suppose they thought it was enough to chuck it out the window. Where would we be then? You don't know, because it's not written on your cue card.
It doesn't happen on Pointless.
I think...
Why don't you get Richard Osman to answer it for you?
Yeah, well, exactly. I'll give him a ring. 2 Italian companies have been working on the design of a space-friendly espresso maker for years after one astronaut, Luca Parmitano, complained that the only thing I missed in space was a good Italian espresso. It's poor Mrs. Parmitano.
Is he married?
You don't
know, do you?
I've no idea. It's not on the card, Paul. At breakfast one morning, Barbie is already hard at work on her laptop. What are you doing, Barbie? Asks Skipper. I'm designing a game that shows kids how computers work. I'm only creating the design ideas, says Barbie. I'll need Stephen and Brian's help to turn it into a real game.
What happened to Ken? Oh, I'm asking the wrong person, sorry.
Sorry.
No idea, you've no idea. Don't know what you're talking about.
Yes,
You're the opposite of Wikipedia.
Why have they got electronic things on their heads?
Well, it's because seals have been behaving very badly.
I think, what have they been doing?
They've been mating with penguins.
What?
It said it in the newspaper. There was a picture of it happening. As far as I could see, it was just a seal lying on top of a penguin.
Which newspapers are you reading?
Are you sure this isn't just the new John Lewis ad?
I mean, you can't blame the seal. The penguin is the most attractive of all birds. It's the way they walk.
On which note?
On which note, me having sex with a penguin, you're going to finish the programme?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, all right, then.
What's wrong with this picture?
Nick Clegg isn't there.
Ah, yes, Paul, exactly that. Yes,
What's
yes,
wrong
yes.
with that?
He didn't turn up for the autumn statement.
He should have been, yes.
Yes, he was in Cornwall.
He was sulking.
Yes.
Do you think he was sulking?
I think he was sulking, yes. I don't think he agrees with it. He doesn't want to take the blame.
He said that he chose to go to Cornwall to talk to normal people. Wrong place for that, Nick. What's wrong with this picture? Yeah.
Where do we start?
There's been a lot of tweeting about his expression.
Do you remember any in particular?
Well, I think there was an implication that she was kind of molesting him with her other hand.
There's one particular tweet that went, "It looks like she's been dead for days and he's feeling the strain of holding her body upright."
And how do we know it's not true?
Exactly, yeah.
He could be photoshopped anyway. It might have been someone else there originally. Might have been Wendy Deng. Happy Christmas.
Also this week we discovered what Kim Jong-un did immediately after he came to power. Do you know what that was?
Did he eliminate his rivals?
Well, he murdered his uncle, didn't he?
Yeah, he did, yeah. The thing he actually did was he banned people from being called Kim Jong-un.
Ah, yes.
He issued a decree saying all party organs and public security authorities should make a list of residents named Kim Jong-un. There's going to be a list with Kim Jong-un written on it a lot of times, isn't it?
It's Christmas. No one's doing nativity plays anymore.
Yeah, sure, yeah. And do you know what they're doing instead, the schools?
Something worthwhile?
I'm
just a bit annoyed because I was the donkey.
I was Joseph.
Oh, yeah.
And there was a. I had to, me and the Verge were going along, and I said, look, there's a place here. We had to say, the guy, the innkeeper, had to come out, and I say, innkeeper. I was about 9. Innkeeper, do you have any rooms for the night? And he was meant to say, no, but I've got a stable round the back. And he just said no, and walked off stage. And I said, what a great biblical quote. Maybe he's got some stables round the back.
It was improv, even then.
Improv, it was actually, yes. I was 9.
Yeah. I saw one of the kings brought the gift of the gold, and he was handing it over, and he just turned to the audience and says, "It's not real." Wanted, experienced farmer to join what?
One Direction?
One Direction are here tonight. They were in the dressing room next to me, and they were warming up.
It's true.
So I've heard one of One Direction singing Scales. It's terrible. I was so annoyed by the noise coming through, I started doing my own warm-up. This is the autumn statement.
How did you know it was One Direction?
Because there were quite a lot of girls outside, and they said, it's One Direction in there.
I initially thought the girls were through us, but...
No, I didn't.
Well, tell us about the corn laws.
Oh, yes. Well, we'll start with Peel.
There's just time for the caption competition.
There's a good joke here, I can think of it. I wanted coffee, you bitch!
That's the one.
That's the one. Put that one in, if you dare.
Next.
Ah, this is a very popular Christmas present, My Little Schoolgirl. Aimed at the pony market. I woke up this morning feeling a little horse. Would that be any good to you either? I asked for coffee, you bitch. Yes, this is Prince William and President Obama having a chat. Who do you think they met, Reg?
I wouldn't be surprised if they met Mrs. Obama.
Yeah. Basketball players.
Oh, yes, this is good.
There was a hand.
In basketball, there is usually.
There was a hand where it shouldn't be.
On Kate.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's actually treason. What you just said.
I'm not sure America's still a colony, though, is it?
He's a big fella, and he put his arm round
did he?
Kate.
Yeah.
Yes, which he shouldn't have done.
No.
Yes.
So that was the big news of the royal visit?
No.
That was worth going, then. This is the MP. He was caught in a parliamentary committee playing Candy Crush.
Yeah.
which I now know is a game. I thought it was an actress from the 70s. He was playing for 2.5 hours, and he wasn't just having a quick look and thinking, oh, I'll just do this. 2.5 hours playing a game involving lining up sweets.
I don't understand why nobody noticed and said, stop doing that.
Perhaps they were all doing it. He was the only one who got caught.
So it's a welcome return to the gaffometer of news.
Oh.
Let's see those gaffs on show.
Has it been a special week for him? Has he made more gaffes than normal? There was one, but I've forgotten it. Would that be the one you're thinking of?
Yes.
It was a breastfeeding gaff.
Ah.
What breastfeeding gaff? When he saw a woman breastfeeding and thought he'd join in? What happened? What was going on there?
No, he's always preferred the bottle.
He was referring to a woman in Claridge's who'd
Yes.
been asked to breastfeed more privately, and he said something to the effect of, why don't they go and do it in the corner? See, I like that idea. I like the idea that you can have page 3, breasts exposed, but you can't actually have a woman breastfeeding, which primarily are what breasts were for in the first place. So Nigel Farage presumably would like us to have page 3.
Yes, probably it's a freedom issue for him.
Exactly. But not for women wanting to breastfeed.
No, because that's not a freedom issue.
Exactly.
No, that's taste.
He actually said, I think, given that some people feel very embarrassed by it, it isn't too difficult to breastfeed a baby in a way that's not openly ostentatious.
Like hanging from a trapeze.
Or while ice skating.
Yeah.
When it was... Yvette Cooper was quick in with a reaction to his comments. She said, after that interview, Nigel Farage should sit at...
You see, I do have a problem with people doing that in public. I know it's old-fashioned and it's what nature intended.
When you say old-fashioned,
people doing it.
It's more 8th century, isn't it, really? Yeah. It's old-fashioned in that sense. Oh, we've livened up that quote now, haven't we?
But, do you want to see a picture of the lady?
Of what?
This is the lady who was called Louise Burns.
Oh, yeah,
This is her breastfeeding. Yeah. And then she was asked by a waiter to cover up and given a napkin to drape over the baby. It's been suggested that the solution is to cover things up. And what's wrong with a nice crocheted bonnet to wear, such as this one? In other Scottish news, Kirsty, you were nominated for a rather special literary prize last month.
What was the prize, Kirsty?
I was shortlisted for the Bad Sex Award.
The Bad Sex Award?
No, the Bad Sex and Fiction Award.
Oh, sorry. I gather you won the original award.
I was about to say, you've taken that news pretty well.
Does that remind anyone of anyone? He's done a film.
Well, the cat's done a film.
There's a film called Grumpy Cat. It's going to be out for Christmas.
What?
It's going to do even better than Nativity 3.
Is that a film?
Shut your face.
Not according to the reviews, it is.
Rude! Man brings what to a house party?
Horse. He's dyslexic. Horse. The invitation was badly printed. Horse.
What?
Yes.
Yes. No!
That's the point.
This happened at a Mexican party in the US. Let's have a look.
Not only is that horse clearly drunk, but I suspect he's playing the trumpet as well.
And the weird thing is that horse probably doesn't make very much money at all.
Shop uses what to recreate the birth of Christ? It's actually Henry Hoover's. So let's have a look.
Oh, I think that's rather brilliant. The three kings sucking up to the new Messiah. Thank you very much.